Yeah. I was just gonna, I guess, open it up to if anyone had any questions about the Eden fractal, and then also, I guess, kind of open that discussion. We got the Eden fractal members here too. I think it'd be like worth us talking about. I need to talk to, like, I guess, Michael, and reach out to some of the chief delegates, see what's going on as far as reaching out to the fractally team on if Wednesday is going to be an event. But I brought it up also in the breakout group, but I think it would be interesting. It is a little bit like last minute notice, but because we are being innovative with this, there could be a chance maybe we could do more of, like, if we're doing an event, like a big event on Wednesday for the Eden Fractal, maybe for that week we can incentivize participation by having a bigger distribution of, like, our weekly, um, I guess we're not calling it Respect Eden token, um, so that just by coming and participating, it was worth your time to come, and then we can make this a bigger event. But we need to, I guess, see if this is events even going to take place or not, though. But if anyone else knows anything about kind of what's going on with that, I'd be interested to hear.
Has there been a meeting yet, or the first one is imminent?
So we had our first Eden Fractal event this last Wednesday. This will be the second one. Yeah, and so then I just watched these last two chief delegate meetings, and so Chuck McDonald has been the chief delegate that's been involved with the Eden Fractal. He's with these meetings, and he was there for the first one. He's also been giving us NFTs, so we got an NFT everyone who participated. So I'm not sure who is going to reach out to the Fractally team. Maybe James may know. I know Dan mentioned it. I guess we didn't really elaborate too much further on that.
Where's the consensus being recorded?
On chain.
Yeah.
So there's a smart contract on EOS that I wrote that basically takes the place of the spreadsheet that we're using in this community. So it's not like a fully decentralized solution. It's just meant to be kind of a direct replacement for recording in a spreadsheet. And the benefit is that because it's on chain, you get to see a little Eden token on Blocks.io if you go look at your account. So it looks, my opinion philosophically is that it is no more official than just using a spreadsheet. But it just feels cool to see that you have a token in Blocks.
So James, thank you for that. Jay was asking me if I would add the Eden Fractal to my dashboard. That's very easy for me to do if I knew how to get the data. So if that would be appreciated by the Eden community, so maybe I'll just do it and then ask for forgiveness later. I think it'll be appreciated, so I'll just do it. And if the community values it, then I'll keep maintaining it or hand it off to somebody else. But I would need to know sort of how to access the data. That's something you can guide me.
Yeah, do you know, have you done like reading smart contract tables before with EOS.js or anything? Okay. So the contract is eden.fractal. That's the address it's at on the EOS blockchain. Okay. And yeah, maybe I'll just, yeah,
can you send me a link to your
resources.
Okay. Could you send me a link to your code? Is it on GitHub?
Yeah. My code's on GitHub. I'll send you a link to that. I'll send you a link to the contract on Blocks, which is the block explorer that we use in EOS. Well, I use. Yeah, I'll find a resource or something that helps you. You basically just use some JavaScript. There might even, I think there's a Python SDK or whatever you can use to read contract data. I actually don't do front end stuff very often, but I know there's plenty of resources out there.
Thank you, James.
Yeah. Felix, I didn't really understand what your request was for going to the Fractally team about something related to the Eden Fractal. What are you asking?
So the last chief delegate meeting, they were talking about the transfer of keys for the Eden smart contract. I'm not like super like understanding, I guess, the finer details, but I think it's like to manage like the code so that like they can change the election date. And so basically the idea is to make a every Eden election, there's a transfer of keys, like a ceremony from chief delegates to chief delegates. And so it was proposed that this Wednesday, it just coincides, like, I don't know if it's coincidentally, but like Wednesdays are Eden Fractal, but June 15th is also the day the Magna Carta was signed. And Brock Pierce makes a good point of like, that's kind of like a significant day for decentralization. And so I mean, if we can make an event around that, I think that's huge.
So I guess I agree with all that. What's the tie-in with the Fractally team? Did you just mean this community, or did you mean
No,
like
so
the
I
Fractally
think
LLC or something?
so because Fractally was Clarion, so the ones who are tied to this has, I guess, permissions of the Eden smart
Oh,
contract.
they have the current keys. They hold the current keys. Is that what you're saying? And the idea
I
is to
believe
transfer it over to the chief
to the chief
delegates.
delegates. Yep, I believe so.
Okay, now I totally understand. Yeah, cool. I'll bring that up in the on our Slack, and we'll talk about it.
Cool. All right, yeah, I guess yeah, because I can spend a little bit of time here, probably like 15 minutes. I gotta hop off, but if we want to, we can do some type of communications, because if we do, it is short notice. Wednesday's coming up, and I'm sure people want to enjoy the weekend. But if we can, um, if we do finalize that date, if the chief delegates are on board, then yeah, everyone that's on here too, from Fractally, it would be awesome, because you would help, kind of spark the second week for Eden. And then also hopefully maybe that is something on the table if everyone's cool with, maybe we do allocate more respect, because I think that's an innovative way too to think about every single week we're meeting for the same amount of respect that's being minted. But maybe around certain events, we could reach a consensus where we're like, okay, well, this week we have this much respect that will be allocated. And I guess not so much dependent on the size of the turnout, but like just basically for everyone who shows up that day, they're going to be incentivized to do so. So even if you're ranked last, you're still going to get a good amount for participating in that event in itself. And I think it's just a unique way of kind of using minting I mean, that's what we're essentially doing. I feel is like we're coming up with a token distribution. And so instead of keeping it on I guess a set weekly based on turnout, it could be more centered around specific events. And maybe that could be, something that we take on as a more innovative, like experimental outside fractal from the Fractally Genesis. And then maybe it's used here at the Fractally Genesis.
But I have some thoughts on that. There's no current, I mean, I guess we could try using the same ratification process that we used today in this community to start ratifying ideas like that in the Eden fractal. I'm a little hesitant to change the actual like fundamental meeting distribution. I think like I understand the spirit of that proposal and would counter propose maybe just people collectively agree to offer their own respect individually to make a pool that can then get distributed to people who participate. That turns out also would kind of need a proposal, because currently the token is untradeable. So we would need to make the token tradable for people to do that. So counter proposal maybe would just be to use EOS instead of the respect token, the Eden token. But basically my point is I think there's multiple ways to achieve what you're talking about to incentivize participation. I'm not sure that it makes the most sense to have a culture of altering the distribution in the weekly meetings, and it probably makes more sense to me to have people opt in to give one time to a cause that they feel strongly about, and then in fact that giving becomes something that you did for the community and you can earn respect for that in the next weekly meeting. So I don't know, that's just my gut reaction to it. But
yeah, I actually have a similar reaction to changing the distribution. I'm not like super for the like assuming that a Fibonacci distribution is the best in the long term, but I think it's a good starting place, and we should have a more robust sort of way to decide how do we update that? What is the best way to move forward to updating that? And I think an event-based one could add a lot of chaos and stuff to make it more difficult, in fact, to figure out how to potentially improve on a Fibonacci distribution if there are ways that that's doable.
Yeah, I agree. I think that changing the amount of respect per week is an interesting idea to explore in the future, and especially when the Fractal has more governance capacity and like it's more legitimate and established, like maybe in coming weeks or coming months and so forth. But I think that just being there, I mean, this is the second Eden Fractal event, and thanks so much, Felix, and for sharing that during the meeting with Dan and so forth. And also everybody's welcome to attend, of course. It'd be amazing to see you all there. And I think that just being there for the second meeting, that's a lot of respect already. It's a little bit like mining the second block of Bitcoin, perhaps. So I don't think we have to, give extra respect now, like in addition to what it normally is. Felix is muted.
I was gonna say, I think, I don't want to break anything either, but I guess the fundamental idea. But I also thinking too, based off all that you guys' feedback, NFTs is also something that would add like I don't know if that's the right term, but like intangible value to whoever held the NFT that was given during that day. But then also, the EOS actually does sound very interesting, because maybe, if the chief delegates want to make a turnout for this transition, then maybe they can pool some funds for this event, and then that will bring in people, because then it's like, okay, you're getting tokens, and now and then on the benefit, then they can get some Eden for just maybe the normal distribution, but then they've gotten, an idea and taste of this fractally process. But okay, yeah, it's cool. I think it's good. What I feel like I'm learning as myself being involved with these online communities is sometimes just sharing ideas and then just letting them bounce around. And even if, not being definitive on a decision, but just kind of seeing what everyone thinks. And because I think that can also spark other ideas too within the community that I may not have even thought of myself. So yeah, this is cool. It's exciting. This online community stuff is like, for me, myself, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of value for personal growth, and just all these other opportunities are just starting to really start to bloom in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Felix, thanks so much for sharing that. I'm sorry, somebody's trying to speak.
Me.
Okay.
So I'm going to the website that the chat just says that we have to go to RSVP, but it leads me to a Fractally page, which actually has a link to the ENF site, but I don't see where to do the actual reservation.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up. And by the way, did you pronounce your name George or Jorge, or how should I pronounce?
Jorge.
Jorge?
Spanish.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jorge. So that is something that I was speaking about with Josh last night. It's a little bit confusing, like the sign up process, because it's currently in the EOS Network DAO, which was kind of a group that had it's kind of formed into the Eden Fractal in a way, and so we're figuring out the best way to make the sign up process easier. So if you're signed in to gofractally.com, then it will bring you to the page where it says moving Eden forward, and then there's a Zoom link and it says Wednesday, June 15th. But if you're not signed in, then it will give you some strange link that's not very related to the Eden Fractal. So are you signed in to gofractally.com?
I don't know. Let me take a look. Yes, I'm signing in.
Interesting. So when I'm signed in and I click the RSVP link, I see, well, I'm actually not able to just paste a screenshot, but I don't know why it's showing up like that. Josh, do you know why that's happening, Josh?
You may need to follow the fractal before you'll see the events for that fractal.
Oh, is that it? You have to be part of the EOS Network DAO fractal because it's a secret fractal?
No. Just on GoFractally. Just on GoFractally, I think you just need to follow the fractals that you follow. You'll see the events for them. So just kind of confirm that, Jorge.
Yeah, you need to join the fractal So someone needs to invite you, and then you'll be able to see the events, and then you can RSVP to them.
That said, I don't think I ever RSVP'd to anything. You really just need a Zoom link so you can get on the call.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That, although James, you are RSVP'd to it at some point. You RSVP'd.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, and it lasts.
Oh.
So once you RSVP is good because once you RSVP once, I think you stay RSVP'd indefinitely, and then I think you get a email right before the event with a new Zoom link. So it does make it easier, and it would definitely be best to streamline the process. And it also looks better when people who aren't familiar with it can go there and they say, oh, a bunch of people RSVP'd. It won't just be 2 people there or whatever. And I think
I dropped the link if anyone wants to join that fractal. Well, this is the link for the EOS Network DAO, which I think is the group we're using for now.
Which also might be a good time to bring this up, as there are many people who are participating in the Eden Fractal here, as well as people who are participating in the Fractal, of course. And I don't know if there's something else you'd like to say, Jorge, or if anybody else would like to say something, but something that I was speaking about with Josh last night, I was thinking about just making a new Fractally group on the gofractally.com, just called Eden Fractal, that has kind of like a fresh start and new branding, and specifically for that, and also make it public group so anybody can join without having to sign up to both the GoFractally site and then also to be invited, to make it easier for people to join, because right now it is like convoluted. But I'm not sure. Joshua also made some good points, or maybe he suggested maybe just repurposing this group. So I feel like this is, in general, like there's a couple different things we might want to discuss here about maybe making it public rather than making it secret, and also maybe rebranding it or start a new group. We don't have to discuss this. I'd be happy to discuss something else, of course, but that's something that I've been wondering, and that might be helpful to discuss now while everybody's here.
I just managed to RSVP successfully. Thank you, guys. I just don't get why the initial link didn't get me to the right place. The links are actually different. The one that was posted initially in the chat and the one Joshua just dropped.
Yeah, so Joshua shared an invite to the Fractally group, and then the link on the website is an invite link to an event that's in the Fractally group. So in order to join the event, you had to be a member of the group. So it wasn't working when you just clicked the RSVP and you weren't a member of the group already. So then Joshua sent you an invite to the group so you could RSVP to the event. I believe that's what happened. Does that make sense?
Somehow, but yeah, I'm RSVP already. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for RSVPing it and then also sharing that, and looking forward to seeing you, Jorge, there. And also great to see you here too, of course.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I made an announcement or an event on the Discord group, and I was able to include the Zoom link. So I do need to create another event on there too. So if you come to, if you're on Discord as well, we're gonna try. I mean, that is gonna be the place. Like that's gonna become a priority to get all most important communications on there. So we'll be able to have a meeting link up there so that you can just tune in to the Discord too, and get the information that you'll need to show up to whatever meeting.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks, Felix and Patrick. What's up?
Yeah, so I just posted the Discord link to go to the Discord server of Eden Fractal. On the Discord server, there is directly a channel, a group entitled Eden Fractal. And there we can post what is related to the Eden Fractal. I just want to confirm here, because I like to confirm the things before I do. So you are the first to be aware of that, because we are in this group here. I will do a tweet in a couple of hours I have no exact time to confirm what I said into the first Eden Fractal event on Wednesday, that Nova Crypto will give 500 EOS to the pool for Eden Fractal, to the Eden Fractal pool, indeed. And I do that because I believe in this initiative. And the 500 EOS comes from a part of the Eden last election. I was reaching level 1, Eden delegate level 1. And I want to use a part of those funds for this initiative, Eden Fractal. That makes sense. And also the other part of the 500 EOS will come from the Pomelo Season 2. Pomelo, I see not only a nice avenue for Eden, I see that also a nice avenue for Fractally, because we need public goods on Fractally. And if you have public goods on Pomelo and you believe into Fractally process, and at the same time you believe in Eden like me, that was naturally that I would propose that. That was coming obvious on this Wednesday. Before that was not. But during the talk that we have with Felix, with Dancing Joy, during the last Wednesday, and the initiative of Joshua moving Eden forward, I was thinking suddenly the light come into my little brain, and I was thinking, oh, that would be nice to contribute to the pool. And that's a one-time contribution. I give those 500 EOS into the pool. I will give that when there will be an MSIG, multi-signature for the Eden Fractal account. And I will give those funds at this time. But for the moment, I will testify my intent by doing a tweet publicly, and I will tag the Eden Fractal Twitter account, and that will be official. Like this, what I have said is frozen into the stone. That's that.
Cool. Sounds great. Thanks so much, Patrick. Really appreciate it, and I love the enthusiasm and support too. And I'm so stoked about what we're doing with the Eden Fractal and so forth.
So what did you guys decide after thinking whether to leave the budget for each breakout, for each weekly meeting to the liquidity pools versus to actually give it to the participants?
You're talking about EOS?
No, Eden on EOS. Because I remember some video you guys, when you guys were proposing the Eden fractally to the Eden community. Well, not sure if it was to the Eden community, but you were discussing whether to take the budget, like the 100 EOS per week, and add it to a liquidity pool, or to give those EOS as respect or additional to respect tokens to each of the participants. So I was wondering what was the decision, the final decision, I mean.
The decision that we made for now is just to give out the EOS to keep it simple, but then to come back and keep in mind the respect and do it in the future at some point, I think, basically. James, do you want to add on to that? I'm sorry, I look like you're about to speak there.
Okay.
No apology necessary.
Okay.
That was the decision. I guess one technical thing I'd add is somebody would need to write an AMM contract on EOS, or convert maybe one of the old Bancor AMM contracts to be functional. I think DeFi Box and some other companies might have some open source AMM contracts, but somebody needs to actually do the legwork of figuring out what AMM contract to use and whatnot if we wanted to do a liquidity pool that EOS could be contributed to subsidize an Eden AMM. So I think that's absolutely the better design. It's better for maintaining the independence of the Eden fractal. And it should be in my opinion, the long-term goal of the Eden Fractal would be to get to a point where the EOS was not actually distributed directly to people, but instead used to contribute to a liquidity pool. So I think, at least for me, that would be a goal that I would respect if somebody were to take the initiative and start working towards doing something like that for the Eden Fractal. But right now we're just distributing the EOS.
Yep, same here.
And the way it works right now is if you send EOS to this contract, the Eden Fractal contract, so like Patrick, for example, your 500 EOS that you're contributing, which is awesome.
I will wait to send until there is the MSIG, not before. I will wait.
Oh, yeah, that's also fine if you want to do that for trust reasons. It is the case currently
for liability also
to the contract that the contract it only distributes 100 EOS a week is the current setting, and there's an action to change that distribution amount if we wanted to, but it currently distributes 100 EOS a week regardless of how much balance it holds. So anybody could just send EOS to it, and then it will automatically only take 100 and then distribute it at each meeting. So that's just how it currently is written.
Okay. I will see with Dance Enjoy what is the best solution to put those 500 EOS into Eden Fractal. I don't want that it is diluted directly.
Yeah, it wouldn't be diluted. The only consideration, Patrick, I guess, is for you to decide whether or not you trust the people who currently have access to that account, because there's no multi-sig currently. It's just there's a handful of admins. I can access any EOS at that account myself. Dan can. Chuck can. Yeah. So the thing is, it's like
if you are doing bad stuff, I will leave. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's also in addition to the trust aspect, there's also the liability aspect. So
liability, exactly. Yeah, so, accountability, liability.
I think it's best to decentralize with an MSA, because right now I have the owner key, and so I don't want to have like some weird tax potential uncertainty if Patrick sends it out.
Okay.
So I think it'd be good to MSIG it out soon, which is something we can discuss at another time, I suppose, or now.
I have a question. I would say in connected with the Eden Fractal account. Okay. We have an Eden. We have okay. On Fractally, we have a Fractally agreement. We have all set into the Hive account. I agree. Okay, I agree. And into now the Eden Fractal, we should have also a kind of agreement, relatively same to the Fractally agreement, but with some specificities. This agreement, and that's a question for James Smart. This agreement should be or could be a Ricardian contract that is human readable and machine smart contract readable, so the both things, and that could drive the actions that are into the smart contract. Why I say that? It's because now on Eden version 1.0, the current Eden, we have bylaws, and those bylaws are, or let's say the smart contract, Genesis Eden smart contract, is not reflecting what the bylaws are saying. I was thinking, why those bylaws or this agreement, if you prefer, is not a Ricardian contract indeed, because the power of EOS, it's to have, when you are developing a smart contract, you can attach a Ricardian contract. Other blockchains, you don't have this possibility, but here into EOS.io smart contract or Mandel smart contract, we can attach a Ricardian contract. So I think that would be very more powerful if the agreement is turned into a Ricardian contract. What do you think, James, on that? That makes sense, or I am totally beside my shoes?
I think that is slightly misusing the idea of a Ricardian contract, actually. A Ricardian contract is intended to describe the intent behind a particular action that you can take on a blockchain.
Yes.
So it's fixed to a particular action. What is actually already in place that I think gets at what you want, Patrick, is the Eden Fractal contract has an action for upload agreement. And
for example, an action named upload agreement, for example, yeah, exactly.
So somebody can upload an agreement, and then there's another action already for sign, and there's a third action for unsign. So people can explicitly declare their intent on chain that they either agree or disagree to the agreement that gets uploaded there. So it's
and
not
you speak about fractally here. You speak about fractally here when you say that.
No, this is the Eden Fractal.
Eden Fractal that use the fractally process, but on the Eden version 1, Genesis Eden, is there an action into the Genesis Eden?
No.
Voila.
No.
That's now what that we see into the Eden Telegram group. Some discussion now coming 1 month before the next election, July 9, to state, no, finally that was not that is not specified yet, that the next election is on July 9, and that gives some behavior problems.
If there was a Ricardian that said something about that, it still wouldn't fix the problem. You need the actual, you would need a parameter to be available to be set that says when the next election is, which there is that parameter, but the code is such that that parameter can only be updated within or out. Like you can only update it up until 1 month before the election, and then it's too soon to the election to update it. Okay. So since we're within 1 month of the election, it can still be updated, but it's more complicated. It just means that somebody needs
just
to edit
1 month
the code.
Before. That's a little stress. Huh?
Somebody needs to update the smart contract code to remove the limitation that says it can only.
The limitation, yeah. Okay, but here we are on fractally process, so that's different. We are making a precedent. I would say we are making the things doing it right. Yeah. So.
I guess I just wanted to say something real quick. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on today. Probably not as long as last week. But I just wanted to say that I really appreciate all of you, and I really enjoy this process that we do every week. But also, it's really cool, specifically, to have a group of people who are interested in the philosophy and economics and the principles of what we're doing here, because it's hard to find people in real life that care about these things. Like the people I just happen to come into contact with are very likely not going to understand or care about many of these principles. And even in online communities, I would say up until these types of DAO processes that people are experimenting with, it's still hard to find people who have these same shared values. For the past 4 or 5 years, I've only been able to find the vast majority of just investors and people who are interested in crypto only from an investment and money-making perspective. So I just wanted to say I appreciate all of you. I'm glad that we have this process that helps us find each other. And Matt, I'm glad you came out of hiding. Yeah, I'm also just very, very excited to be able to have this after meeting once everything that we're working on is public, because in the last week I've had a couple really cool epiphanies about ways that technology can be used that I can't say more about right now, but I can't wait to be able to talk to all of you guys in particular about what we're building, which isn't, it's just, I just had to get my thoughts out. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, James.
Hey, Felix.
Hey, Jay. Real quick, I just want to say, shout out James, for real. This morning, it was sweet to be able to log on and see Blocks.io, see that we have the Eden in there, and then the EOS. And, that's a huge shout out also for Dan for putting up the first EOS to be distributed. So, exciting times for sure.
Oh, yeah, baby time.
Okay, baby
just
time.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Thanks so much. We have to say when we are happy, we have to say, go Eden Fractal.
I'm gonna be hopping off here real quick. I don't know if you want. I know I interrupted Jay though, really quick. So sorry about that. If you wanted to go, Jay.
Yeah, first I apologize for my audio. I'm using a cell phone. Obviously, I have a headset on, and I'm basically underneath an airport. I think Dan Singjoy started to be frustrated with me. I really
I
need
wasn't
a cheap
frustrated.
new rig.
Just want to let you know.
I want to fix that as soon as I can. I apologize for it. But I also wanted to jump in and say, James, I am 100%. Everything that you just said, I agree with you 1,000%. And I appreciate you and all of us working together on this thing. And one thing, as you all get to know me, is like, sometimes it's like, how do we get Jay either to talk or shut up? And so I think sometimes both can be challenging. And so I apologize for my stream of consciousness. But I did want to say, as an airplane goes over, that one of my brainstorming visions is that I wanted to just throw it in. And actually, James, I'm trying to jump in to agree with the philosophy that I think we all share. But now I want to just do a subtle kind of a footnote, an asterisk to say, if we succeed in our project philosophically, how can we keep our respective 194 countries and their respective governments that are at bay, so to speak, or from shutting us down or killing us or violence or whatever? And I think the answer might be kind of a cross hybrid between, think of a mafia or the Godfather, or and government taxation systems. And so, if you think about the mafia, they knock on your business door and they say, we need to sell you some protection. And it's like, well, how much is that going to be? It's like, 15% of your daily cash drawer or whatever it is. And, because I'm using 15% tax as a benchmark. So one of what we could potentially do is, for our own protection, is we haven't even yet been asked to pay for protection from the mafia / governments, but we may want to anticipate that that's coming down the pike and actually create our own solution that could appease the mafia governments that are coming that we have to look forward to ahead of the game. And so the idea then would be to create a tokenized taxation voluntary tax. And this is obviously, it would be an opt-in type thing. Let's say you wanted to say, I don't like my government, but I need their protection, so I'm going to pay them 15% of my tokens off the top. I'm using a rough example. I'm going to grant a token tax of 15% earmarking off the top to my government if it will agree to accept my token tax payments and give me a tax credit for, tokenized however it works, so that when I pay my 15% token tax to my respective government who has jurisdiction over me, that I'm doing that actually, I don't know how we can do that quote unquote voluntarily, but it may be like, if we, like, if you build it, they will come. We may be able to anticipate the purchase of security of our government mafias by designing and architecting a token tax system. Pick your own tax rate, if it's 15% or whatever of all of your tokens earmarked off the top. That I'm not saying that that's one solution, one fell swoop solution, but as philosophers of how to architect the tokenization of the world and self-sovereign community, small group communities, we may want to put a big, huge asterisk and say, we would like to voluntarily purchase and participate in our 194 country governmental systems, and actually pre-design it so that we're keeping the gorilla happy, so to speak. Anyway, that's my brainstorm of the day. I'm throwing it out to us because I think we need to have a philosophy of how can we maintain peace by quote unquote purchasing security, if that makes sense. And that's it. Thanks.
Good thoughts, Jay. Opt-in taxation is a really interesting idea, and in a way, it's actually what everyone is doing by opting into any community that has an inflation on the token. But yeah, good thoughts, Jay. Maybe form it into a blog post and we can talk more about it. Mark, you got your hand up?
Yeah, cool. That my hand was up for another reason, but I'd like to say to Jay that that's a great idea, and it's an expected idea of many expected good ideas. But when we think of, you know, really working as a group, with all the accountability fail safes that Fractally is growing and attempting to provide, we can, you know, grow the items like our independence or make contractual deals with the guerrillas, you know, with integrity, or with like a sustainable plan as a community. So it's really neat to be able to start just populating these ideas, and we'll be probably moving on them in the next year. So to have a fund for all of the mafias is like kind of a no-brainer. And you know, we also started thinking about that when Larimer published 6 months ago the idea that we would want to support two governments basically at once as the required work for getting a new status quo underway. So I thought I'd piggyback on what you said, Jay, instead of derail it by what my original hand was raised for, to say how to get set up for Wednesday, because I'm going to join and attend on Wednesday. But before I cheapen what Jay said, I wanted to comment on what Jay said, to say, yeah, great idea. But so that's all I was going to throw out there. You know, how to get prepped for Wednesday was going to be my pointed question. Is there anything besides RSVPing that I need and to come to the table? And will I get an email with a link, or go back to that RSVP site on Wednesday morning?
Yeah, I think as long as you show up to the meeting, I think everything else, like afterwards, will. But I don't know, James and well, yeah, James is kind of handling, I guess, he handled basically we put it in the Zoom chat, all the order, and so I'm not sure how they're doing that. That would be a James question for sure. But
yeah, it's really simple. We just take the order of the consensus and structure it syntactically in a way that the smart contract will understand, and then just post the whole result into the smart contract, and it saves it all and distributes everything. So that's pretty simple. By the way, Felix, I just got some feedback from Brandon Fancher that he thinks it should be fine to do some kind of key transfer on Wednesday. So we have to figure out the details of that. I kind of doubt that all the current members will like be there to as part of some ceremony, but I mean, one way we could do it is have a transaction signed ahead of time by Dan and Brandon and Mike and whoever else is on the that account, and then the current CDs have that transaction and they make a big show of submitting it to the chain, and it would execute the transfer of power, something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Dan and I are gonna be meeting later for our show tomorrow, but then also we'll probably be in talks with Michael, and then hopefully we could pull in Chuck as well. And
Dan Larimer or Dan?
Dan Stingray.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be cool. You know, that's, I guess, kind of the one other thing I wanted to add to kind of what you were saying is, it's cool that, you know, we found a community here that, you know, we're all believers in something very ambitious. And, you know, you go back to the founding fathers times, like it was crazy for them to come up with, you know, the current system that we had right here, but it's only people who are willing to actually go and try to chase after that actually became reality. And we're doing that regardless of how big the task may seem. And that's what's very exciting here too, is, you know, we could be the future founding fathers of generations to come through this technology. And yeah, it's super exciting. And I feel like the relationships that are here can be like lifelong lasting too. And it's really exciting to start to get to know everybody, seeing familiar faces. And I think we all have very like-minded goals. And yeah, I'm excited. So hopefully this Wednesday we definitely, it just seems too good to not take advantage of the historic date landing, like coincidentally on the day that we just chose to start doing this. So yeah, Dan and I will try to communicate, and then also we'll be communicating with you. Hopefully, does Discord work with you, for like talking throughout, I guess, the weekend?
Yeah, Discord is fine. Yeah, Discord is fine.
Okay. Yeah, I might start to open up more discussion on this event in particular in the Discord chat, and then yeah, hopefully
If
we
I don't
get
respond
a
on
meeting
Discord, try Telegram.
going. Okay.
But I should see it on Discord.
That's sweet. Well, I got to get going, guys. I appreciate everyone's time. I'm looking forward to what's coming up, and I hope to see you guys all either.
Thank you,
we'll be in
Felix.
communications this weekend, but definitely on Wednesday. So
Thank you, Felix.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Felix.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Nice
Felix.
job.
Thanks so much.
To be very consistent with the Discord server, before to go on Twitter Space and all this stuff, build on Discord first and step by step, not have the eyes bigger than the body. That's very nice.
yep.
Thank you.
I think the main thing is just every week, just doing something and progressing every week.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Cool. Thanks, Felix.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Recording stopped.
I guess Felix stopped the recording because he left. I'll start the recording again, I guess, unless Joshua did that on purpose, but I don't think he did. Record. Oh.
Yeah, I think it was just
Recording in
Felix.
progress. Recording stopped.
Okay, sorry. I just hit it twice.
Recording in
Confused.
progress.
That's a bot. Recording stop.
Yes.
Recording stop.
I was also going to just answer what Mark said before about preparing. I don't know if James is going. I saw the peace sign. Oh, I see you.
No,
now.
Nuno is gone.
Okay. Yeah, so this has been super inspiring. Also, James, you shared super inspiring words before, as did many other people. So thanks so much for that. But I was also just going to answer to Mark. So one, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, Mark, on Wednesday. Thank you, and I think it'll be really cool. And then, yeah, I don't think there's really anything to do in advance other than RCP and show up. I think that Felix and James answered that well. But one thing I was just gonna suggest is that we could potentially meet up early. So last time we did it at 13 UTC because that was the time that we previously been meeting, and also because we just kind of scheduled it really quickly. We put this whole event together within like 2 weeks or so, so we didn't have much time to plan. When we have these meetings, these Genesis fractally meetings, we have 45 minutes in advance. We meet up at, I don't know what time it is, 15:30 UTC, but we don't actually start the actual consensus process until 16:15 UTC, which is kind of helpful to have 45 minutes and when we can talk in advance. So the past time we just did 15 minutes before and then we jumped right into it. But I'd also be happy to meet early, basically. I guess what I'm saying here, or just scoping out interest. If anybody's interested in joining the event earlier, then I suppose we can discuss that, or feel free to arrange that, or so forth. And Mark, I see your hands up.
Sure. Yeah, all those times came across very quickly. I was thinking around 1300 UTC, and it sounded like you wanted to bump it back a half hour to about say 12:30 UTC this Wednesday. Is that a good summary? And I thought the whole thing would last for about from 12:30 UTC for about an hour and a half up to about 1400 UTC. Is that correct? Because you were saying 1500 UTC just now.
Sorry if I'm getting confused with my UTCs. So when we did it last time, yeah, I got very confused, I think. Sorry about that. So when we did it last time, we did from 13 UTC to 15 UTC. But we did consensus between 15 UTC and 14 UTC. And then we had an hour discussion afterwards. So
yeah, 1 hour of consensus, or actually 45 minutes of consensus. But 15-minute pre-meeting thing and then an hour post-meeting thing was what they did this last.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, we did 40 minutes of consensus to make it so we can submit the vote time. rather than 45. But I'm sorry to cut you off, Mark. What were you saying?
Yeah, sure. No problem. So yeah, it sounds like 12:30 UTC to rather than meet 15 minutes before this time, it'll be more like 30 minutes. That's your proposal. And that if we stay for an hour and a half from that 12:30 UTC up to 1400 UTC, we will be beyond the consensus point and the ceremonial point, and then there will be an hour afterward for kind of an aftermath. But we can easily break from that and not miss any major structure. You agree?
Yep, that's correct. And
you don't even have to go for the pre-meeting. It's the kind of the trade-off of doing this on a weekday. Like I have stuff I'm doing, so I will likely come 5 minutes before the actual consensus meeting and leave right at the end on most days because I don't have the time like on a weekend to stick around and chat.
Okay, thank you both for clarity.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mark, and thanks for asking. Yeah, and I'm not sure if we'll start a half hour early, as well as we still have to figure out because Joshua currently has the Zoom link and he's the host, but I think that Joshua said that he won't be able to host it for this time or for the future for the time being. So we'll have to get a new way of doing it. I just purchased like a pro Zoom account yesterday so I can host it, but I suppose I'll have to speak with Josh about how to do that and then see if other people are interested in co-hosting and so forth. I'm happy to help co-host. I did it a little bit, but it'd be cool if other people want to do it as well. Joshua said he can help with that as well. So yeah, I suppose there's lots of things to get the logistics figured out that we'll figure out. And so we'll figure out exactly what time we meet. For right now, I'd be happy to meet a half hour early, but I don't know if it's in the schedule yet, or if that's something we should discuss more, or if or whatever. I guess it's not a big deal either way.
On Wednesday, that was 13 UTC, to be precise, okay.
Either one works.
Yeah, Joshua make a good question here. Should the hidden EOS fractal, so hidden fractal indeed, make a proposal to the Genesis fractal to approve it as a fractal? That's the first question. And the second question, what is the intent of the approval process for new fractals? Okay, so the first question, should the hidden EOS fractal make a proposal to the Genesis fractal to approve it as a fractal? Or should we stay for the moment
speaking,
in submarine mode and we do our stuff?
Yeah, generally speaking, probably there's no approval.
Well, maybe first to iterate a little bit, and after that we do a proposal. Why we should do a proposal now? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really.
You're muted, Joshua. That's not me. You're muted.
No, he's speaking. Joshua, I can hear him.
Can you hear me, Patrick? Okay. Technically, anyone can form a fractal because it'll be open source, the code. But I'm not exactly. The chain is going to have some level of governance, which is, I'm not exactly sure on the details of the intention of how it's all meant to play out. But it seems like maybe fractals that are running on the network might need some level of approval from a cultural standpoint. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the direction of where things are going. So I just want to throw out the question because I don't really know. I need to review the white paper on this and see what the intent is for the formation of new fractals, because I think it is specified.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up and see it, Mark.
Sorry, I see the point of Joshua. Yeah, how many people have to meet consensus to form a new fractal? It is written into the fractally agreement. We need 4 at least to create a new group, a maximum 12.
No, you talk about teams right now, Patrick. That's between 4 and 12 people for a team. But for a new fractal, I don't think it's been defined how many people that you need. I'm also not sure if it needs to be like officially.
It's defined into the. I read again the fractally agreement today by Daniel Larimer.
Doesn't it say 72?
He say 4 minimum, 12 maximum to form a new fractal.
So that's a team. Teams, not fractals.
Yeah, I think it's 72 then, for the.
Oh, sorry, maybe.
Yeah, and Jordan.
Well, guys, you can't define anybody is free to use fractal governance however they want. It's the bottom line. So we could write in as many papers as we want that it requires 72 people to start up a new fractal, and then 71 people are going to get together and use fractal governance to organize themselves. So all you can do is have rules for within a fractal, and within a fractal, there's a 4 to 12 rule, at least according to the rules of this Genesis fractal for starting up a team. But yeah.
So it's a baby answer. Yeah, perfect.
So a couple of things. So one, I've also heard that, Jordan, about the 72 people, but I don't know if it's in the white paper, but like James said, I'm not sure if it's really relevant or holding us back. I feel like we kind of started it with 12 people last week, and I feel like we're good to keep going and growing. And Genesis Fractally, we still don't have 72 people who are participating regularly, but it's still awesome to be doing it, obviously. And we started that with like 10 or something. And then also to Joshua's remark about the Genesis Fractally approving as a fractal. I don't know if it needs to be approved, although something interesting that Dan Larimer brought up in both a meeting that I had with him today in our breakout room and then also in the after room, I believe, is potentially forming mutual respect between the Eden fractal and the Genesis fractal. So I'm not sure if you mean approved in some other sense. I'd be interested to hear if there is some other sort of approval that might be worth exploring or good to explore, but approving for mutual respect and just exploring that discussion, Dan seemed pretty interested in that, and I don't know exactly how that would work, being that both tokens are, not tradable and so forth, but maybe both communities agree for like, I don't know, a portion of the inflation to go into mutual respect or something. I'm not really sure what the best way to do that is. I see Matt has his hands up. What's up, Matt?
I'm going to take this thanks, Dan. I was just going to take this as an opportunity to go directly to the white paper. So, but to James's point, the whole point is we're all self-sovereign, right? So we can choose to go. That's the whole point of why we're together. And we can, but if we need to work together, we have to form consensus. And the white paper is one way to do that. But we can, there's always the option to secede. And according to the white paper, there's only needs to be a founder. That's all that's required. So Dan or the group who wrote this, they did anticipate that this question would answer. So on page 41, the top of page 41, it sort of describes how to bootstrap a fractal. But it's left unspecified and very general, I think, by design.
Mm-hmm. I was going to follow up on that and ask if there's a jurisdiction, if you will, of a fractal, which then can sort of enforce the rules of, say, teams being from 4 to 12. And I was just wondering, like, and so we all accept that when we're joining a fractal, that we won't officially be a team until we sort of meet that bar and register and whatnot. And so I'm just wondering about, like, are there things that, like, if someone wanted to join a fractal and they've only got 20 people, do they have to give up? Who is the jurisdictional body there that would say, yeah, cool, this is like officially a fractal, or and they'd be given support, for example, through the community, or if they, like, there are, I assume, some scenarios where they just split off and say, we're not being supported, or I'm one person and I want to, demonstrate a one-person fractal, but this whole ecosystem's not allowing for that for whatever reason. Like, what are they giving up by doing that outside of the fractal ecosystem, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think also at the point where we are, as said Andrew were aware, we have not 72 active contributor into the Genesis fractal. So where we are now, what we want to do is to bridge the gap between EOS, fractally, and let's move Eden forward into the right direction. So we need just to contribute and to be regularly on the calls, know each of us better, and do the things, just do the things, continue to do the things, and not think about regulation and all this stuff now. Otherwise, no, it's important for sure, but no mafia at the moment. We are just trying to collaborate. So,
Jordan, to answer your question, go ahead, please.
Well, I was just going to give a concrete example, a short one, where, like, let's say somebody wants to start a fractal, they've got a one-person fractal, but there's some condition required to actually have mutual respect between two fractals, and they're not meeting it for whatever reason. I was just wondering if like what is the suite of things that if you're approved as an official fractal, you have access to within that ecosystem of communicating with other fractals, like mutual respect or other things that you might not get if you just completely fork and do things outside of the.
Yeah, so to use, I mean, James can and should weigh in with, the authority here since he's implementing the smart contracts. But to use fractally, which will be make the process a lot easier. If you want to use the fractally process, the fractally software, and the fractally UI, then it's being built according to the spec, which is very transparent and public, and we'll have to use their smart contracts, or a founder will have to use their smart contracts. So the liquidity, fractals collaborating and having liquidity pools and market makers in order to leverage all of this good stuff that they're inventing for us for a general public good. We'll need to use their smart contracts. But in terms of the governance piece, it's left up to the fractal on how to govern, but there are constraints in order to be able to, for other, like you're calling out, for other fractals to be able to technically communicate together. Is that right, James? Am I being fair?
Yeah, you're being fair. I think maybe we should talk a little bit about parameterizing fractals. And how that works, and where do the parameters come from and such. Because I think I sense maybe there's some confusion. One of my criticisms of the white paper actually is that I don't think it does the greatest job at describing what are all of the variables, all the various ways that the process is parameterized are roughly equivalent as read literally by the white paper. You read that your participation on the council is the whatever it is, 20-week moving average of your rank in the meeting. Why 20? Why not 19? Why something else? And is that parameter decided with the same amount of forethought put into that parameter as is put into the 20% being allocated to a social media platform that goes into it? Or in fact, what is that 20% going to social media? What if a community doesn't have a social media or has no need for one? Do they really want to allocate 20%? So there's these kinds of questions that it's actually really difficult to try to figure out how to describe these parameters, and particularly when Dan has a specific vision for what he wants the first fractal to be that he's participating in. And that is a key point, and that's what I want to talk about. The fact is, anybody can do whatever they want. We're writing smart contracts that behave a certain way, and if you wanted to create a single person fractal, which I don't really understand what that even means, because there's not really a consensus meeting to be had, but I take your point. If you wanted to parameterize it in some way, that's very different. Maybe you didn't want to use the Fibonacci for distribution, something like that. You're free to do that. You can take the open source smart contracts, change the distribution model, rally a community of people who agree with this, and start that fractal. Now, there's no official anything that you need. You don't need official permission from anyone to do that. You don't need official anything. The question is, who do you want to have mutual respect pools with? If one of those entities is the Genesis fractal, that community would need to reach consensus that they want to have mutual respect with you. And one of the considerations that they will have to subjectively evaluate is, did the way they parameterize their fractal, is that sufficiently in line with our objectives and our vision for what the future should look like? And if it's not, then maybe you won't get mutual respect. But it's not because it's not official. It's just because these two communities are sufficiently incompatible that they're not going to share mutual respect. So people can parameterize things however they want. There is a particular vision that Dan's pushing forward that has specific parameters. That isn't to say that these are the right parameters, this is just a vision, and then people can fork and experiment, and the free market can find price discovery between the relative respect tokens to arbitrate on what are the correct trade-offs, is essentially the way that will work.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having such a wonderful answer to my vague question, but it gets it directly at the heart of the question. So thanks.
Yeah.
So indeed, we are a good hidden fractal. What do you mean?
Could you ask that again? Oh.
Indeed, with all what we have stated, we are in a good start with this hidden fractal.
Yeah, the Eden fractal is a good experiment, and it's just it can proceed with as much or as little input from the Genesis fractal as it wants.
Yes,
it's another experiment.
Okay.
And I liked the point Felix brought up in the main meeting of just it's kind of trailblazing a path forward here for people who have alternate ideas for how fractals should be run, can feel free to rally a community and start it and just take action. You don't need to wait for any particular community to adopt your ideas if you have strong opinions. Everyone is free to act.
Maybe a question a little bit ambiguous. Are we ENF people that are involved into this fractally stand-up meetings that we do on the Saturday? Have you seen some ENF representative or peoples that are more interested about EOSIO coalition or ENF stuff? And do you see not a fracture between fractally and ENF? Sorry, that's the Edville advocate now. Just trying to understand the things, as always, 360 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily whether there was a question there, but the ENF is I hope they participate in. I just think this process is one that I think evidently at this point we can say it's pretty good at mobilizing action, and so I just see it as a tool that any community can use. That's like something I've kind of been pushing recently is I think a good way to think about fractally, especially once there's tooling and stuff that facilitates the creation of fractals and these meetings and all that kind of stuff. At least the way I'm going to be viewing it is as a tool for, it's a means to an end. So whatever particular goals I have, I can use this process as one of my tools. And if the EOS community wants to use it as a tool the same way that they use Discord or Telegram to facilitate off-chain communication and discussion and whatever, then I think they should. And as a member of the EOS community, I will be pushing for it. I just think that's the right way to think about it, is just as another tool people can use. And it doesn't bring value, that the value accumulates to whatever it's being used for, because you're motivating people to act in a particular way toward a particular shared vision. So the fact that fractally is on its own chain means very little to how valuable it could be to the EOS community. It could be extremely valuable to the EOS community to use it as a tool and mobilize action. It doesn't matter that you're not going to be paying the CPU price denominated in EOS. That is that's a very irrelevant metric.
Absolutely. They will see the power of the fractal paradigm to join the circles.
Yeah.
They will see that when we will succeed. And we are already succeeding in a way, because we have a lot of participation already on the fractally stand-up meeting on the Saturday. You can say a lot of relative.
And then also with the Eden fractal too. So in addition to a bunch of other benefits that have been discussed already, and we can explore further about Eden fractal in different ways, one of the benefits is it's like a really great opportunity, I think, to show, the ENF and many EOS community members how effective this process can be, because when it was on, when it's kind of outside the fractally, when fractally's been operating kind of outside of the EOS community in some degree with these Saturday meetings, because we're focusing on fractally and not really EOS, it was kind of outside of the periphery or outside of the vision and outside of the focus of some EOS community leaders to some extent. Whereas when we're actually doing it to improve EOS, if we can generate some really positive returns and create a lot of value for the EOS ecosystem, then I think they'll pay a lot of attention to people at the ENF and so forth, and then they'll realize just how helpful this process is and want to get involved or help out in different ways and help empower EOS fractally.
I think so. They will see. And we have nothing to prove. We are doing what we think is good, and we are striving the ecosystem. So that's what we want. And I was never so motivated to interview someone into the workshops as Dan Sinjoy and Felix Ruiz the last Sunday. That was just incredible to interview you guys. Before I was thinking I am doing interview for doing interview. I was like, and this Sunday that was just a beautiful moment. So motivated to do so. So happy. And Joshua, shout out to you again for this initiative at the base layer. Empower the hidden to go forward. That's that.
Yeah,
and
I'm
yours.
gonna jump off, guys.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much, James. It was great seeing you, and see you soon.
Yeah, great talking to all of you.
Thank you. And then also I'll repeat, Patrick, big thanks to Joshua, super helpful with all the work you do here, and also setting up the Moving Eden Forward events and stuff like that. So much of stuff that we're doing wouldn't be possible without you, or it'd be much, much more difficult. And you made it so much easier and better. So thank you. And then Patrick, thank you so much for that interview. In addition to being really fun, and I think you cut out most of the funny laughing parts, but it was really fun and silly.
There was some funny part, yeah, exactly.
But
educative.
Hold on, Joshua just said congrats, and he's going to jump off as well. You guys are awesome. You're awesome, Joshua, and yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, Joshua, you're an awesome guy. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then Patrick, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. It's awesome to see how you've been promoting the EOS Fractal, and the interview was super helpful and super fun. So yeah, thank you so much for all of that, and
you are welcome
as well.
Yeah, I always happy to collaborate with people that are I would say open mind and that want to strive EOS forward. And yeah, I am happy to continue into this ecosystem.
Cool.
Yeah, I got to take off as well. Good chatting with you guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Great speaking with you, Jordan. Have a great day.
Jordan.
And thank
you very much.
You too.
Voila.
Voila.
Voila, voila.
Oh, voila.
We are only 4 now. Jay, are you in COVID again, that you are not showing your face, or
No, I'm just didn't want to break my phone.
Okay.
He's also underneath an airplane or a dragon, one of those that we'll discover at some point.
Yeah.
Are you into the mafia in Italy?
No.
Andrew's
In
going
Sicily.
too. I just want to say, Andrew just messaged he'll be jumping off as well. So excited someone's taking this Eden Fractal forward. I've been imagining it for a while. Great to hear, Andrew. Yeah, and I've loved hearing your thoughts with Eden and Fractally. And I know you said that it's early for you, but I think you said you can try to make it something. I'm not sure if you can, but it'd be great to see you there if you can. And looking forward to hearing more of your thoughts about all that. And thanks for joining us and stuff. I'm super excited too. Thanks, Andrew. Have a great day. And sorry to interrupt you, Jay. I just wanted to just say something to Andrew first. Okay, cool, awesome.
Oh,
looking forward to seeing you there.
I forget. Now Andrew is left.
And Jay out too. They're all leaving us, Patrick.
Okay, so
Jay,
Jay,
he's not here for long though.
Okay, Jay, if you can join
You're awesome
on
too,
Monday.
Jay. Thank you.
Brainstorming session with Dan Sinjoy Monday. Continuation of the Fractally brainstorming session. We are discussing about the proposal of Tadas Veitikunas, continuing discussing about his proposal for the fractal governance for the BPs, and he has received an answer of James Smart, and we were just scratching the surface on the last talk, because there was the announcement of Jesse Jaffe leaving, but we are continuing to do so. If you want to join us on Monday, 19 UTC, yeah, that would be nice.
1900 UTC. Yeah, I have to figure out what time is that on. I think it might be 12 noon Pacific time.
19 UTC for me it's 9 p.m. on my night, and because on the day I have to work, I cannot join before. But 19 UTC it's a time relatively okay for you, I think. Or that,
yeah. Okay.
Know.
Yeah, I think that's 12 noon. I will. So
as you can.
Yeah. Okay. So Patrick, thank you for the invite, and I think I can. So I expect to be there Monday. If at all possible, I will participate. And
but that will be short. That will be short because now Jesse is no more hosting, so he is not publishing his Zoom business account. I have put my Zoom account, and it's only for 45 minutes. But if we need more than 45, I will send another link. That's not the question, but we have not to be too much long.
Patrick, I just purchased a pro account, and so we can use that if you want.
What?
I just purchased just the past 2 days I purchased a Zoom Pro account.
2 days ago? Okay. There was an offer?
No, I just figured because Joshua can't do these ones for the Eden Fractal, and so I figured somebody had to do it.
Okay, so
I got it, and so we can use it for that
the link
as well.
Okay, so I will replace into the event on Go Fractally, the event brainstorming session. I will edit the event, and I will put your link indeed.
It sounds good, and we can communicate over Discord, Telegram, to send you the link. Yeah. And Jay would be great.
Tadas Betikunas was asking me in private, can we not do swapping the time, 14 UTC one time, 19 UTC another time?
But
the idea of Jesse to,
It is kind of difficult to remember. If we could do one time, that might be better. I mean, I understand Jesse's idea to be more accepting of different time zones, but I don't know if they'll really work.
Yeah, the Jesse idea was to swap the time when we would have the Asia guys with us, but basically we have never had them, and also we have never used the original idea of Jesse that was to vote on the proposal and all this stuff. That was not happening indeed. So what we are doing is a brainstorming between knowledgeable people, internal people. We have not seen a lot of external people other than ourselves. So for me, 19 UTC is better because 14 UTC for me, I am still in working. I know you are based in US, but myself, I am based in Switzerland, and Tadas is based in, I don't remember. So the time will be never perfect, but 19 UTC, I think it's a good time for you in US. 19 UTC is...
Yeah, it's like midday, so it's a little bit in the way, and the 14 UTC kind of works better because it's in the morning, but I'm happy to do 19 UTC as well. That's better for everybody.
Yeah, that's always the same problem. 13 UTC for the Eden Fractal, for example, on Wednesday is not a good time for me.
Yep.
But I accept. Maybe I will be there, maybe not. I cannot... like today, I was not sure to come, and finally I am here. So... Oh!
Okay, cool. So
okay, Dan, alors... okay. So, yeah, okay.
I was going to say, I have to go get some work done too. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, Patrick, while we're still on the call? And while it's also still recording, by the way?
Maybe you can generate a link, Zoom, for for Monday. If you can generate a link, 19 UTC until 2030 UTC maximum. And send me this link, and I will edit the event, and I will put your Zoom link into it.
Okay.
If you can do that.
Okay.
And for the tweet about the 500 EOS, I will prepare a tweet. I will do my idea. My idea is to do a little video, 1 minute, not more, with me, stating that I want, as Nova Crypto, Patrick, as Nova Crypto, I want to contribute to the Eden Fractal pool, that I donate 500 EOS, constituted of a part of the Eden level 1 delegate, that I have received some funds. I have already used a part of those funds for the video of the chief delegate. I have made a video of Michael, a video of Edgar, and a video of Chuck McDonald. I was doing that. And I have made this MindWeb, mind map Eden dashboard updated after each Odyssey video. So I have already used a little bit, but the rest of this fund I can inject into Eden Fractal. That makes sense. And Pomelo season 2, also a little part into that, and that's make the 500 EOS. And to pay, so for the tweet, that will be okay. I will do this tweet, I prepare, and I send you a draft. No, it's not possible to send a draft of a tweet, but I send you a screenshot of that, and you tell me, okay, if you are okay with this tweet. And basically, I want to tag Eden Fractal for sure. I will tag, I will put you a proposal. Then you review the tweet. If the tweet is okay for you, I just push the button and we are okay. And on to the next Everything EOS newsletter, or next, exactly, you can do a communication or something as you want. Because you said yourself that could be relevant, that could be good for the community to know, to know. And for the payment, at any time when the Eden Fractal is MSIG, I will pay, because the point now, if I pay already, that could be dangerous for you if I pay already, or what was exactly the point?
Yeah, it was just to reduce like potential tax uncertainty or liability, like being that I'm the only person on the account right now, in addition to James. If you sent it to me, then like I just wouldn't want to have any uncertainty about paying taxes on it or something like that. Whereas if me and you and other people are on the account as well, then it's clearly,
So
decentralized.
You have me into the MSIG. That's make me, you, James. That's make 3.
I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if Joshua's interested. We can ask him. James, I'm also not sure. He's on the active MSIG right now, so he could do the code changes, and we can ask him if he'd be interested in being on the on the owner MSIG. He might be, and then we can also ask Felix and everybody else.
Felix. And Hartman, Mark Scheer, no?
Mark, and basically everybody who participated. Like there was Dwayne and Martin and Jay and Marco, and so all these people. I suppose if we could start off with just like at least 5, that would probably be best, and then we can get up to 7, 11, 21, something. I don't know exactly what we should do, but just at least a few, and 5 would probably be a good start. Although I'd be happy to do more too. The more decentralized, the better, probably.
And the goal is that I give the 500 in one time.
Yep. Yeah, works. You can give it all at one time, and as James was saying, it gets sent out 100 per week.
You decide how to dilute, how to distribute for the best proposals, so for the best ideas.
And that can be a group decision. We could probably use the same process that Dan Larimer introduced today. So far, James set the contract to 100 EOS per week, but if we want to change that to 200 or 50 or whatever, then we can discuss that as a group.
Nice. Okay. Nice week. We made a lot since the last Sunday.
So much has happened. It feels like our interview was like a month ago now. It feels so long ago.
I am just wondering how the things are going so rapidly. And yeah, Monday we have fractally brainstorming session. No, Sunday we have by wire town hall. I hope to join.
Okay,
I will try.
Good. Hope to see you there.
I will
and
try.
Thanks for joining the last one too.
Monday we have fractally brainstorming session. Wednesday we have hidden fractal. Yeah, a lot of things to do.
A lot of things to do.
I'm not sure if I will be able always to attend. But that's always my fear, that I will not be able to attend because I want to be so supportive and behind that. But there are also other things to do. You see, like Jesse now with EOSBs. And maybe myself, I will. Oh, for the fractally brainstorming session, I was thinking, to be honest with you, I think we should maybe do some. Yeah, Monday we do for sure. But after I don't. Okay, I don't know how many time I will be able to stay with this fractally brainstorming session, fractally on EOS, because seems to be that now we have just to discuss a little bit about the proposal of Tadas, and then what? Then the proposal is into the hands of the proposal of Jesse is in the hands of the he has sent to ENF, he has sent to EOS Nation, and he said, I will come back when I see potential interest of EOS for fractally, and this time I will jump with you guys. But okay, he said that. At the same time, we don't know how it could evolve into the next week, into the next month. So I prefer to be reliable with what I said. I do this next Monday, and maybe after we have to discuss between us if that makes sense to continue. Because, you know, if you come on Monday, you have to come not just one time, you have to come many times. And I don't know for you if it is okay, because you have a lot of things to do also. So, because alone myself, host does a fractally brainstorming session, I feel me more comfortable if I have someone with me. That was with Jesse and with you for sure. Now Jesse was leaving, and I was speaking with Jesse after, and I told to Jesse, I will keep into the tweet that I do always by EOSBs and MindWeb. And he said, and with the logo of the fractally with the bees. And he said, "Oh, that's okay. However, it will be not with us. You know what? Because the people are thinking that this initiative was totally an initiative of Jesse, and now that he is leaving, if you are not seeing anymore the logo of fractally with the bees and the same text, the people can think, oh, this initiative is dead." And no, this initiative is not dead. It's just that one of the member cannot afford to continue, and that's normal. That's happened, and we will continue. But now I have to be sure that you will go with me for a moment. But I cannot ask you to be always. So that's the question that I have. But maybe, yeah, we will see.
Sounds good, Patrick. Yeah, so I do have to get going in a couple minutes, but I'm happy to join for this Monday's meeting. And then I agree we can just talk in the future about whether we should continue doing them. It might be helpful, but also might not be necessary. And it also might be nice to have that time off, but also it could be very helpful. So I'd say I'd say we meet this Monday, and then while we're there at this Monday, then we can also speak with Tadas and Dwayne or whoever else is there, and then see if they're interested in continuing it, or if they want to put a hold on it, or and see what everybody thinks. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because if we do an hold on that, we could use this time for other things, and maybe pivot a little bit, doing your other brainstorming session maybe, no more on fractally on EOS, but maybe no more now on hidden fractal for sure, and for other things, because the momentum is changing. We see a change, and hidden fractal has is in a good position. I was already the last week with Daniel Larimer into my breakout room. Today, that was the second time in Europe with Daniel Larimer. Incredible.
Oh.
And we were already, I was already advocating for last week for hidden fractal and all this stuff. And he was very happy to see that we are going into this direction.
Yeah, Dan's been very supportive. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. And today I am again with him and with you.
Yes.
That's incredible. and we saw in live into the breakout room. I had this feeling. He was very supportive, and also James Smart of Fractally team, very supportive. Don't underestimate the credit that James Smart has given to the proposal of Tadas for the Albedo Fractally governance. I mean, this proposal is a very good one, and in the right momentum, more than the network funding that we have discussed all this week with. However, that was very great, nice experience. But I think the proposal of Tadas is very well crafted, and we just have to make maybe 1, 2, maybe maximum 3 episodes, and after that make a ciao to Fractally brainstorming session, because I need some break.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I will do an announcement. I leave EOS and I give yeah, I will do an announcement. I leave EOS and I give 500 EOS to Hidden Fractal.
Okay, well, I like the second part of that announcement.
Oh, you prefer that I do an announcement? I don't leave EOS and I give 500 EOS to Hidden Fractal.
Yes, you probably don't need to make the announcement that you won't leave EOS. I think you could just leave that unsaid.
I do any announcement and I give 500 EOS.
There we go. I announced that I have a new cat and here's 500 EOS.
I don't give any 500 EOS and I do an announcement to announce that I do any... No. Okay.
We can work on that one.
Okay. So have a good weekend. Enjoy. Do some surf and barbecue and yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you, Patrick. And you have a great weekend and enjoy the surf and the barbecue too. Yeah. It's great speaking with you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We see us again.
Okay.
Oh, when you do this recording, the Zoom chat is recorded with or?
I just saved it, but I don't think we need to record it specifically, really.
We cannot export the Zoom chat, huh? I cannot export.
No, you can hit the bottom right where it says save chat, but we don't really need to, though. I mean, we don't have the consensus here.
Oh, enregistrer save the discussion. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, cool, Patrick.
Perfect. Thank you very much, man.
And thanks, man.
See you soon.
Appreciate it very much. And see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.
I too. Thank you.
See you.
And salutation, regards to your father and mother and all the people that are watching your Swiss workshop and laughing when I say crystal ball.
Yes, sounds good. I have no crystal ball, but I'll tell them.
That's the only thing that you are retained of my workshop.
That's it.
No.
You do a different work? No, I'm just joking. But yeah, thank you.
No, crystal ball is not correct. My pronunciation is not correct. Or what is? I should say crystal ball. Or how you say?
You can say it however you want, Patrick. You say if I just always think it's funny. I mean, I appreciate your interviews overall. You have great interviews, but then you always say that.
No, but crystal ball, you understand what does it mean?
Yeah. It's like a crystal ball where you can tell the future and stuff.
I was thinking that maybe I have not used the right word, you know.
No, you use it. It's just funny. but you use it and I understand it.
Okay. Yeah, definitively. I will use that always. I don't know when we will see us. I don't know when we will see us again, but for sure we will see us. I have no crystal ball, but I am sure.
Same here, Patrick. Same here. And thank you for the salutations, and same to your wife and your family and stuff.
Oh, I have a nice idea for the tweet. I will choose a crystal ball, and I will put around the crystal ball, hidden fractal is yours. And I will put 500 into the crystal ball. Oh, I will do a nice art.
Okay.
A nice art. And if you see that this art is good, I will say, okay, we can push the tweet. Yeah, that will be nice.
Okay, sounds good.
I will do
Patrick.
my best. I will do my best. Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I hope.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I will give 700 EOS.
Well, you just changed your mind. You're giving more now.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. That's very helpful.
I will give 700 EOS. I just changed my mind now.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe I do two announcements, one of 500 and the second of 200.
That might be good. You can make two announcements then. It's up to you.
No.
Either way, however you want to do
it's too
it.
much work. It's too much work. I do one announcement, one crystal ball,
One.
and 500 into the crystal ball. Okay?
Okay.
Bon.
It sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Okay, see you,
Bye-bye.
Patrick. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Oh, good. Bye, bye, bye.
Recording stop.